Hey guys, I'm sitting down here in Fort Worth with Eric Ferreira, and this is the first time we've met, so we're just going to kind of run through all of it and see what happens here.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let's just start in the beginning, and it doesn't sound like you've been on much social media yet. Plenty of people know who you are, I'm sure, but let's just kind of run through your life story and how we wound up where we're at right now, and then we can kind of talk about the game from there.
Well, yeah. So we were raised kind of by a reining cow horse trader of sorts, and so we've always kind of done the horse deal since I was a kid. I was raised by a guy named Tony Avila.
Okay.
And so we did that. Then I went off and I rodeoed for a while, and I cowboyed a little bit. And,
Monty had mentioned that you rode bulls.
Yeah, so I rode bulls for about 11 years, and decided that I needed to take things more serious. I'd I got sick with diabetes. I never knew I had it.
Oh, okay.
And so that once that kind of hit, then I kind of just quit, running around partying, chasing girls. And went to work for a horse trainer because I figured that's what I was always going to end up doing.
Yeah.
And I seen a couple old buddies of mine that I had rodeoed in a bar in Clements, and they were working for a cutting horse trainer. Well, at the time, I didn't realize the cutting horse trainer, he was younger than me, and he was in the bar hanging out with them. And so there's this Monty Bunton guy, and I told my buddy Troy Jensen, who I had junior rodeoed with and went to high school with, I said, hey, when you guys get shorthanded, give me a call. I'd really like to get a job. And so they called me 2 weeks later, and I went and I interviewed with Monty. And at this point, I'm pretty broke. I'd been sick, I hadn't been working, I'm skinny, just getting healthy again.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on Monty's little front porch, and he introduces, we talked for a minute. He asked what my deal is, and I told him, I got a couple outside horses, I'm staying with my folks right now. And he goes, well, what are you wanting to make? And I said, I've got those few outside horses. If you could pay me $1,500 or $1,500 a month, I could probably get by. He said, how about 11? And I said, wow, gosh. I said, well, it's a good learning opportunity. So we agreed on 11. And so I worked there for a few months, and we were at a guy's place in, I guess it'd be Wallace. Working out of a guy's place named Scott Gaddy. And we had left, and at this point I was just loping horses for him. I was riding one little 2-year-old WR mare that would grab butt and run off, and she was a big project, and I thought it was a really cool thing that they were letting me ride this horse. It was way more. They just didn't want to ride her, and they bought her off on me in the long run. I learned that. But so Troy, he stayed behind and worked for Scott Gaddy. And Monty went on to Nick and Julie Arizmendi's just right down the road in Clements. And I got to start a horse that he had showed at the fraternities late that year. And actually, that was the first horse I got to show and win an NCHA title on, 2000 limit Western Nationals in Scottsdale that year. So that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
But the very next year, Monty, he got some 2-year-olds, and he got like 25 of them. And he was making a deal where he could put them in the pasture. So he had a gelding stud colt pasture and filly pasture. And the real special ones Mike could stay up in the stalls.
Yeah, so just to kind of pause and kind of put some perspective on it to me, because I'm kind of new to Monty as well. I don't know. I'm new to the entire performance horse deal. I've only been doing it this last 10 months since I moved down here to ride cow horses. Where is Monty at in his career at this point? This is going back like 12 years or so at this, right, from here.
Monty would be maybe about the same point where I'm at, maybe a year or two farther into his career.
Gotcha.
So he's just starting out.
But he's probably starting to make some earnings and get out there and really be a contender at this point.
I think when I went to work for Monty, he had about 250, 300,000 won.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, real similar to where I'm at.
Yeah,
right now.
absolutely. And how many, when you moved to this second place with him, were you the only guy with him, or did more help ahead of you as far as people riding?
I was the only guy with him at this point.
So this
and
opened
his
up a lot
wife.
more opportunity going to this second place.
We went to the second place, and I was the 2-year-old guy.
Gotcha. Okay.
If I liked it or not.
And so also just to kind of pause since we're here, so we don't have to get distracted later on. What was your experience with horses before you came to work for Monty as far as like actually training? Like, was it just stuff you picked up cowboying and just kind of like everybody just figured it out? Or
So I'd worked for a reining horse trainer
Okay.
for by the name of Gary Van Heusen for like 6 years. And I left Gary's, and kind of the idea was I was going to go to work for a cutting horse trainer for about 2-3 years. And then I wanted to move on to a cow horse trainer. I just ended up really liking the cutting horse deal, and I just stuck with the cutting horse deal.
Okay.
So, and that's even funny. I met my wife. We've never lived apart. She went to work for Monty.
Right at the same time.
Just
like were you guys
6
already?
months after, we didn't know each other.
Oh, you guys met working for Monty.
For Monty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they housed us together.
Oh,
And her room didn't have a door. It had a curtain. And they left for the big fraternity, and they're like, "You guys be good." And well, you know how that works.
That's funny. Yeah, I've known Gracie for close to 9 or 10 years now.
Yeah.
And we always kind of had the interest, but she's from Tehachapi, so I was bouncing all over the place. And like last winter or something, me and her brother Marty Miller, he's out of Glenville, but we ranch rodeoed with him down there and met a bunch of people. And
you guys know Leroy Chico?
I don't know that one.
You know Leroy, Indian guy. He's on the res.
Gotcha.
Handy. Had a lot of good dogs too.
Yeah, But when I was working for Dwayne, I had just been there maybe like 4 or 5 months, and she came up to visit and hang out for a couple weeks, and then just never left. Turned into what it is now. So it was kind of, when it came on fast.
Did you know Jose Madrid?
Yeah, I know Jose.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had met him and a bunch of guys hanging out down at the old corner in Clements.
Oh yeah.
And wound up going over to some parties over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just started kind of hanging out down there a little bit and met some guys. And then I had just moved back from Montana and was working for a local guy, but it was more just like he was paying me to be his buddy and ride around and feed cows and shit.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I mean, it was good. He was paying me good money, and I had the time to ride horses, but I just wasn't quite what I wanted. So found Dwayne, and then when that split ways, I was like, well, I've managed some places, and kind of without having my name on the cows, I had done as much as you're going to do being someone's guy, you know?
Right.
And I wasn't ready to go back to running equipment or fight fire or whatever I was doing before. So it was kind of, how can I keep this type of lifestyle and make a living? And so that's who, originally I was going to go to work for Jason Gay in Wickenburg.
Okay.
And then his plans had changed, and he probably found someone just more experienced than me.
Right.
But he got me in contact with Cody, and we come down here, which worked out perfect because I've always wanted to come down to this area. I'd almost gone to work for a reiner in Gainesville before, but it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But anyways, so you guys move into this second place with Monty, and you're the 2-year-old guy, and you get this big load of 2-year-olds in there, and he's got them turned out, and the good ones can come up. And so what's going on from there?
We're just starting 2-year-olds in Monty's home this year, and he kind of just leaves me to my own device. And I had read the reiners for a good while.
Yeah.
And but I didn't know how to put a horse on a cow at this point, or really anything. I just thought if I could get him to stop and look cool in front of a cow. And there was a lady there, Julie Arismendi, who her original name was Julie Roddy. She's in the Hall of Fame. She's won quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, she was during, like the pioneer days. She was a big deal.
Absolutely.
So she kind of took me under her wing and helped me work colts, and just kind of helped me out quite a bit that way. And so yeah, that kind of evolved.
Yeah.
we get an offer to go to, or Monty gets an offer to go to a bigger facility in Lincoln, and this it kept building from there. We went from thinking 30 horses was a big deal to getting to Lincoln and having 45 to 50 horses was a big deal. And later on, after I'd say 7 years, I'd start getting some outside horses and some sale colts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there towards the end, we were riding anywhere from 55 to 75 head of horses.
Yeah, I remember in one interview that Monty was in, he was talking about hauling like some crazy number of horses, like 50 or something horses to a show somewhere between all the help and non-pros and everything that he was shipping out.
Yeah, it would be nothing for him to have 45, 50 stalls.
What does that look like, organizing that many horses down the road? I mean, is it just, like, how many guys would you have, how many horses to a guy? Would you have 6 or 8 horses and a guy for each set, or?
No, try to have about 5 horses per helper.
Mm-hmm.
Really hard to find that much help.
Yeah.
So.
Well, especially help that you trust to
do
sit in a $100,000 rig plus however many thousands and thousands of dollars of horses behind it too.
Right. It takes a special group of people to manage that many and be successful and not all fall apart.
And so with that much help and horses around, because I've not been around an operation that big, so I mean it's a totally new concept to me. But when a guy has 5, 6 horses or whatever, is he loping and warming them up and bringing them to the Monty and you and maybe the top 2 or 3 guys to actually get on a flag or on cattle and then cool them down, and you guys are rolling through like a couple dozen apiece?
At home, you would have, they would be pouring them to Monty, and Monty's getting through the blunt of the horses. Kind of the 2-year-old deal, because I rode mostly 2-year-olds for him, I would, sometimes I'd have a saddler, sometimes I wouldn't, and I'd either work in the indoor if he was working in the outdoor, or I'd work in the outdoor, and then he'd come out and check my work. But yeah, we would have him going on the equicizer, and I'd be tying as many out in the round pen as I could get going, and I'd just have 4 or 5 saddled, and I'd go through them 4 or 5, and then saddle another group of them and try and get the others to the wash rack.
Yeah.
And, hand them off to people to wash them and get through as many as possible a day.
Man, that's impressive. And what are your days like hour-wise? You starting at 3 or 4 and going till dark again?
Depending on the time of year, the heat, and time allowing. But, I'd say my regular hours, they're pretty much the same now. I'd start about 5:36, and I'll break for lunch, and I'll get done 7, 8 o'clock at night.
It's a pretty good day.
Yeah, well, gotta love it.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you guys move into this place in Lincoln, is this the same place he's at now? Or
this is the same place Monty's at now.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So it's been a good facility and good relationship. Does he own it or he leases
great.
it?
He leases it
Gotcha.
from
So good relationship all the way around.
and Stacy Morgan, and he landed on such a good deal. Those people have been great, great people. So you couldn't ask for a better place to work at.
Yeah. So how far into your time with Monty are you starting to go down the road with him and get the opportunities to show some of the second string horses and stuff like that?
I think, for me, it was probably 5, 6 years. I'd gotten a 2-year-old sent to me. I had 2 this year, and one was a little bitty bay mare that had a long mane that I thought she was pretty as it could be, but very limited. And then I got a big sorrel mare with a bald face that they dropped her off because she was bronchi, and they told me she was a little wild, but they didn't go to the extent of how wild she was. Her feet were curled up, and I was the only one who could trim her for a while. And I told the lady when she dropped her off, I said, you know what, I'll give you a call here in a couple of days. I'll probably be on her. And she laughed at me. And so I get her saddled, and she's wild. And I get her bending around on the ground, and I'm like, well, shit, I told her I was going to get on her. So I stepped on her, and she butted around a little bit. I was like, hey, you guys better get a couple pictures real quick so I can prove that I did get on her. I got on her, and she's like, wow, I can't believe you did get on her. And apparently they tried saddling her. They got her into a big wreck.
Yeah.
And she ended up leaving the horse and training with me. It was supposed to leave me and go back to somebody else, and she liked what was going on. And so I got to show that mare at the fraternities, and she had been my second aged event horse, but the first one that was in training, that got sent to me and was in training with me. And
Could you explain what an aged event horse is? Because a lot of the people that are probably going to see this are going to be more like cowboys.
Your aged event's going to be 3s to 5, 6-year-olds being the end of their aged event year. 7-year-olds and up, they go to the weekend. So aged events like your premier money earning years.
Yeah. And so your 3-year-olds are showing against 3-year-olds. 4 and 5 are showing against
4-year-olds against each other.
Gotcha.
And then 5, 6-year-olds against each other.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
A little bit different than cow horse then.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. And so this is your second horse, and you get to go.
This is my second horse. First one was one that was Custer Romani's, and the horse really wasn't gonna make, but we trained him, and he won some money in the amateur and stuff, and he was a good learning experience.
How do you approach a horse like that maybe doesn't have the same amount of what talent, athleticism, size, pedigree, whatever it is, versus one that you know is going to be a powerhouse, and you just got to kind of find a way to get out of their way? Is it like, do you find different types of spots where you can make things easier and give them the victory and just kind of trick them into thinking they're tougher than they are?
You have to let them think they're 10 feet tall. You got to tell them they're just as good as the other horse. You got to set them up for success quite a bit more and let them little wins go huge. You might be like, oh, that's pretty average, but you got to realize their ability.
Yeah.
That's the same as me dunking a basketball. It's not going to happen. But if I can make a good three-pointer shot every once in a while, I'm going to be pretty happy with my ability.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, I would say just confidence building.
And was that something at that time in your journey where you could recognize that, or
no?
How much coaching are you getting on from Monty, like on the day-to-day? Is he coming in and checking and watching you ride one, or in the middle of
at this point right now?
Yeah, when you're riding this second horse.
Oh, at the second horse, he did. He gave me quite a few pointers, helped me along the way. But Monty, he was gone a bit, so there was a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
And really, I'd say quite a bit, to be honest with you, at this point. He would let me kind of fiddle around and play around with it, and then if there was a big problem, he'd come in and give me a hand.
Yeah, I can see two different options for a guy, at least from my perspective, like from Monty's point of view, looking into something like that, where you can either force yourself to be around and babysit a guy and keep him from making mistakes, and maybe he doesn't get the lessons, or you can do what it sounds like he did with you, which is kind of let you swim out in the deep end and wait till the last second to kind of pull you out before it's irreversible.
Right.
And that probably was looking back, was probably a huge advantage to you of being forced to learn it.
I feel like, that was a really good situation for me, where I don't think I would have learned another way. I think you have to make the trials and errors and try it yourself. And there's still times now that I'm like, oh shit, he was right. That does work. And maybe at that point when he told me, I might have not been ready to recognize, or I actually just didn't comprehend at all what he was talking about. It was probably pure relatively simple to him.
Yeah.
But to me, it was so over my head, I was like, this idiot. And then later on,
Yeah.
I'm like, gosh dang, he was right.
That's been a big theme in my life is like if I work for John over here and he tries like hell to teach me something, I just can't ever quite figure it out. And then I come and work for Steve and that situation arises and it's like instant, like
Right.
I've been doing it my whole life. It's like, why couldn't I do it to this in front of the guy that was trying to teach me, let him know it was worth his effort.
Right. Just not ready at that moment to
Yeah.
grasp it,
Yep.
I don't think.
Yeah. So as you're moving on from that second horse and moving along with Monty's program, how are things starting to progress as he's starting to find more success? How's that kind of trickling down to you?
Well, man, I really just think like his success rubbed off on me because the more he knew, the more I got to learn. I just always felt like we were just steps behind each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so he started coming to Fort Worth more often. You know, he had futurity horses and he had derby horses and super stakes horses.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd get to come out here, but it started with me going to the futurities buying 2-year-olds. I would get somebody to buy me a 2-year-old every year, and I'd try and get it going, and I'd try and sell it. So the first 2-year-old I bought was a Kit Kat Sugar mare, and at this point, I'm not smart enough to look at the X-rays, and the guy who I partnered with, he didn't look at the X-rays. Anyways, we buy this Kit Kat Sugar mare for 10 at the time, and we're all happy, pretty little sorrel mare, and we ride her, and I take her to the Rancho for Charity, and a guy by the name of Andrew Coates tries her, and he likes her, and so he vets her, and I'm all happy thinking I got this horse sold, and for, you know, a pretty good profit, and she don't pass the vet check. And of course, at that time, I was devastated. I thought it was the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
And it actually probably worked out in my benefit. So I get to show her. I train her through. We're partners on this horse, so I got skin in the game. And I'm not really, at this point, I don't have a whole lot of money to be wasting on entry fees, so I'm feeling all kinds of pressure on this. But, I mean, she goes on, and I win some intermediate titles on her and some limited titles, and she just really taught me how to you know, show more confident, just a better horse.
Yeah.
And this mare she was pretty darn nice horse. Maybe not the best horse I'd ever swung a leg over, but a lot of integrity and really good to train.
Kind of like the first type of horse where you're feeling like you don't so much have to have your thumb on it, but you can kind of let them be a little more responsible and trust that she's going to be in the right spot type of deal.
Yeah, she taught me to allow a horse to work a cow, because I always trying to control them and buttons, and that just, you know, you start later on and progressing, you realize that's not going to help you.
Yeah, because, you know, Monty talks about, and I'm sure everybody talks about the guys that teach a horse to mirror a cow versus teaching them to compete with the cow.
Well, and I think that takes a certain kind of horse too. The really good horses crave that competition of competing with a cow, and some of them horses are, you know, they're pretty bland. They need a little more of that pattern training, where the really good ones, you pull your feet away and they just take control, and that's really what it's all about.
Yeah.
Right there, for me.
How long have you been with Monty at this point?
At this point, probably 6 years, 7 years. So then progressing, we keep buying these 2-year-olds. I get a smooth as a cat mare, and I ride her all the way through until the beginning of her 3-year-old year. And there was a lady that had brought her daughter and another friend for some lessons. And she kept saying, I want to get in the cutting horse deal, and I'm not taking it very serious, because, you know, we're taking lessons on a paint horse. And anyway, she ends up buying this smooth cat mare from me, and ends up being a really good little horse. And we go and we show it at the fraternities and the derbies, and we make open finals. You know, this is a big deal to me now.
Yeah.
I'm consistently getting into open finals and competing, so I start, you know, a little more confidence. And this lady ends up buying me multiple horses. She's still a client to this day. But she's got 2-3 horses and training with me. So now I've got the Kit Kat Sugar Mare, and I've got a 3-year-old, and I've got a 4-year-old and a 5-6-year-old. So I've got me a little string of aged event horses. So this is how my deal starts to progress.
Yeah.
We go back to the sale and we buy a Stevie Ray Vaughan stud horse, and we're gonna sell it. This is the plan. And nice horse, real good bottom side. We get a really good video on him for the sale. We take him back here, and some people had asked me if I wanted to sell him ahead of time. And you know, I'm getting offers for $75,000, and I'm telling them no. But I'm like, oh gosh, am I doing the wrong thing? Because at this point, selling one for 40 is a big deal to me. So we come back to the sale, and you know, quite a few people are asking about him, and I've got bigger name guys that I looked up to, especially for the sale gig, wanting to look at him. And so, I mean, all the way up until like an hour before, I get offers on this horse, and I pass him down, ride him through. He brings 100,000. Pretty good investment. Me and a guy named Dave Ballheiser, we partnered on him. He paid 17,000 for him, and I rode him the whole year, and we split cost on him. You know, trims, vet bills, coggins, any of the extra. So we bring him back, and we hit a home run there. We're pretty pumped up.
Heck yeah.
We come home, because I'm sitting at the yearling sale trying to buy another. Of course, I got to have a roan Stevie because that worked so good. And I'm probably, you know, at this point, I'm a little fast forward, I'm about 9 years into Monty. I get a 2-year-old Stevie Ray Vaughan off of Art and Sandy Haskins, and I get him all ready for this sale, and I'm prepping. I'm thinking this is a better horse than the last one. You know, Mama hasn't won quite as much, but this is a good horse. You know, and I'm thinking that this horse is gonna ring the bell, just kill it. So we bring him back to the sale. I put a reserve on him for 75,000. He doesn't sell, and I told everybody. I've had a lot of people, you know, they offered me after the sale. I said, no, got to get that mark, or I'll just take him home. He'll win more than that. And that this horse is the horse I'm actually showing here. He's gone on to win 160,000, and so, you know, everything kind of happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
I feel like the Kit Kat Sugar Mare didn't sell. It happened for a reason. I feel like the Stevie that sold for all the money happened for a reason, and then me not selling my partner horse with my mother-in-law happened for a reason. Because
how do you make that choice to keep that one when it doesn't meet reserve? Does that kind of shake your nerve on maybe you have more pride in this horse and what it's actually worth, or were you pretty confident in what you thought about this horse after riding it that long?
I was pretty confident. I was pretty confident that it was a really nice horse. And my mother-in-law, being the lady who she is, she said, money don't matter to me. We'll keep the horse. She clapped when the horse didn't sell. She didn't want to sell him. I wanted to sell him because I wanted to put money away.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we bring him back, this horse back to the fraternity. I make the limited, intermediate fraternity finals and the semifinals. Mark a 17 and a half, I think. I missed the finals. But it's a big deal to me. Like I'd showed horses at the fraternity, but I hadn't made any finals.
Yeah.
You know, I marked a 19 in the first round, and and that was pretty well up there in the first round. And so that horse gave me confidence.
Absolutely.
And he kind of gave me the confidence that I can show with these guys. We take them back to Super Stakes, and we end up like 6th at the Super Stakes in the Open, make the Open finals, make all the limited, the intermediate, semis. So, and then we come back to the Summer Cut, and we win the limited, we make the intermediate, we make the semis, have a little bit of trouble. But at this point, I've gone to every major age event on this horse that we were just wanting $75,000 for. People are offering me real money for him now. And my mother-in-law was like, not a chance. And but that horse, he gave me the confidence to keep coming out here, keep competing, and putting myself out here where I want to compete. Because especially leaving Monty's right after I showed this horse at the fraternity in 2023, he really was the reason I kept going. I kept going on this horse, and he pushed me to keep just sticking my neck out there and having the confidence and telling me that you can be up in this level of competitors.
So before you have a couple of these horses that are helping you find some success and confidence in your ability to train them, were there any times where you're like, screw this horse training, I got to find something else to do? Did you ever look at tapping out, or you were determined that you were going to make it work?
I'm going to make this horse still work. One, I don't know how to do anything else. It's all we've ever done as kids and grown up into. I tried chewing a little bit, and that's god-awful work for me. No, I mean, this is it. Like, I have to make this work, and so I have a family now that relies on me. It's not just like, oh, you fail, and I get to go back and work at a feed store. That ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
No. I've got people counting on me, and I love it. I mean, it's a craving. It's really like it's something I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about, like situations of how I'm gonna work horses and stuff. It's just something I crave.
That sounds like you landed in the perfect place after talking with Monty. I mean, you guys seem to have a real similar mindset and like deep passion for what you guys do. Like, did that make it easy having a guy that felt the same way? Like, did you guys feed off each other like that?
I feel like Monty was a really good place to land for a lot of different reasons. One, he craves it. He's a competitor. He wants to win. And anything that I ever do, I mean, I'll race you to the trash can to throw a piece of trash in and try and beat you. That I crave that competitive nature. But I feel like the bonus of working for Monty is his strong mental aspect and his way to see something that he wants and achieve it. And Monty, he comes from pretty simple beginnings as well. And I had a good family, but it's not like we're just going and buying whatever we want stuff. We've got to work for it, and we got to scrape by, and it's tough.
Yeah.
And Monty, him coming from those same kind of background, made me realize, like, this is possible. I can do this. I can be what I see, So that's...
So you're with Monty for 10 years.
10 years,
and with him fairly early through his, like, from his early successes to where he is relatively now. Were there times where he would be having some sort of struggle, and it would, like, did you ever see his adversity, or did he keep that to himself pretty well and, like, put on a face that you know what I'm trying to get at?
You would see him change things and struggle in ways, but he seemed like he always found a way to win somewhere. You know what I mean? I think the hardest part for me was at that time he would come back to Bigger Cutting, and he'd have me doing one thing. He'd come back from Fort Worth, and we'd be doing something totally different the next time. So there was a lot of changing and swapping out, and you know, like I tell the guys that work for me now, don't try and mimic exactly what I'm doing. There's no way you can do it exactly the way I do it. As long as you have the baseline of what I want is go work a cow, make it be simple, and make it make sense to the horse, that I can follow it. The release is always going to be back to the cow.
Yeah.
Right? See, I can't do the same thing as Monty does with a horse the same way, but we can get the same end result.
Yeah.
Because our goal is the same: work the cow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That's that. You know, like when I was talking with him on Saturday, we were talking about to give more use value versus an investment value. That, like, if your client's paying you for a number $1,500 a month to train their horse, what can he do to make them feel like they're getting $2,000 worth of value?
Exactly.
And he's saying the information is the one thing you have an unlimited supply of, and only you can teach something how to do it your way.
Exactly.
It's an individual.
It's got your own stamp on it, for sure. Your own special finesse, however you want to say it.
So in the beginning, when you're first coming to him after riding reiners and rodeoing and cowboying and stuff, and kind of getting a feel for all these things, were you in the beginning, after having a little bit of reining background, were you getting horses too broke for him or too soft, or were there some adjustments where you're like, in the beginning, was it confusing why you wouldn't want to put more of a face or something on these horses?
Man, I feel like in the beginning I was trying to get too manufactured, too much control on them that didn't relate to the cow. Like, and I think a lot of young guys do it. Like, they want them to land perfect and their hip this way and that, and it ends up being more work, and you just kind of pull them off the cow. And if you don't just always just relate it back to the cow, I don't really care how you do it. If you do it by yank pull back to the cow, or if you're kicking, or if you're clucking to them, as long as it always goes back to the cow, they'll hunt that cow, right? Everybody's got their own way of doing it.
Yeah.
But I feel like at a younger age, I was more manufactured, where I was like, oh, the cow don't even have to move. I'll make it go across here with my feet, and it'll run over here and stop. And so before he would turn because I'd run over there and stop, and he'd turn because I released my feet out of that stop, instead of him running over there and stopping because of the cow. The cow stopped him, and he turned because the cow pulled him through the turn, not because I run him over there and backed him up, and then he released because I backed him up, and he knows if I back him up every time, he's supposed to turn. You know what I mean? I had
absolutely.
to, and that was a hard thing to realize there for a while, because you'll get them to do some cool stuff, but until you actually go and show and realize that's not going to help you, you're going to keep making mistakes.
So what was it like trying to find the right time to go out on your own, and how much of it was you and how much of it was it Monty kind of saying, like, it's time to go, baby bird, like getting kicked out of the nest?
It's kind of a mutual agreement. He had capped me at, I think, 10 horses, and I had like 17. And it was just time. It had run its course, and I think that he had prepped me, and I was going to have to go out on my own to learn other aspects, like business sense, and I just think it was time. We both sat down in a cafe, and we were drinking coffee, and I told him, I think this is my last year, and he said, no, I think that's a good idea. And I rode, you know, that whole year, 2023. And he, yeah, just at that end of the year, we just agreed to leave. And he still helps me, you know, at this point. I, even today, I go over there and work and stuff. We have a good relationship that way. And he sends me horses if I, when he wants 2-year-olds rode or something, or if they're too busy. But no, it just was time.
Yeah, well,
Time
I
to
mean,
evolve.
after 10 years, I mean, that's a long time to know anybody, whether it's an employer or a friend or anything. I mean, that's a real relationship. I mean, he's going to be someone that you lean on the rest of your life, I'm sure.
A bit, yeah. For and all kinds of different advice, not just work, just somebody to talk to and ramble ideas off of, and I call and ask him about cows and different investments. And all kinds of different.
Was he pretty? I mean, I'm sure, especially you being there so long, you probably got to look inside, like, what it was like to manage his deal, like as far as him, like, giving you some perspective as to what the business side of things was gonna look like going out on your own.
That guy's really smart, savvy that way. I think that was a really good place for many reasons, because one, he's a good businessman, and he breaks it down. It's pretty simple. It's a business, and you have to treat it like a business. And he was good on the fact that he let you work a lot of horses and learn from mistakes, and he was a strong mental coach, I would have to say.
Yeah.
You know,
Was did you see any like big changes? Because when I was talking with him, he said something along the lines of he really feels like his mental game got strong in the last like 4 or 5 years. Would you say that you think there was probably more to it before that?
I feel like once he went past 1 million, that's when he really got comfortable.
Yeah.
Once he got that main goal out of his way. You know, I'm still working on that 1 million. So.
Where are you at right now?
330, I think, right now.
How much do you earn before you earn out of like the lower levels? Because what is it? Is it
limited,
intermediate, open?
Limited. So limited is 200,000 in lifetime earnings. The intermediate is 750 or 200,000 in the last 2 years.
Gotcha.
So you can roll back in if you've had a couple bad years. A lot of bigger guys are in there. Just didn't have the horsepower. Or something set them back.
So that's a pretty big window. I don't know exactly what the numbers are in the cow horse, but I mean, I feel like they're substantially lower than that.
A little bit,
But there's probably, I mean, cutting is like the original Western performance horse. Really, I mean, like as far as the popularity, I mean, everybody has. There's more money, there's more opportunities to haul, so it makes sense that window would be bigger.
It really comes down to horsepower. I think there's a lot of people that train horses really good, and there's a lot of knowledge out there if you're willing to reach out and look for it. So I think nowadays it just comes to who has the better horse.
Yeah. So you've been on your own for about 2 years now, and when you left, when you first stepped out on your own, what did that look like? Where did you go? How many horses did you start off with?
I went to Sliding J in Campo, California. I really thought we were gonna ride 12 horses. I said, honey, it's gonna be tight. We might starve a little bit, but we'll get through it. And luckily, it really wasn't that way. We ended up in the first couple months, we got 27 2-year-olds in.
Oh wow!
All of a sudden, we've got 40 horses in training, and we're looking for spots to put them and people to hire, and we're selling horses that I'm still doing the 2-year-old deal where I sell them horses. So we sold a horse he didn't make for a cutter. Andy Holcomb ended up with him for a road horse.
Okay, yeah.
And then the move on over, I mean, my mother-in-law, she splits everything we win on them, and Super Stakes, we won 53,000. You know, the first couple months we're out on our own, so I mean, everything was just coming together.
Yeah.
And we're in year 2. It just really hasn't slowed that down. And that comes with a whole nother degree of, you know, I wouldn't say difficulties, but like now you got to learn, you got to manage that. You got to be a coach for a team, and you got to. We moved to a Sparta now, to a place where, you know, in the works of buying. So now not only am I managing a horse program that I didn't have to manage before, I just showed up and got on 2-year-olds. I'm managing people, and I'm managing a property. So
what was that like, that first year, trying to learn how to prioritize your time between all these new responsibilities? Like you say, you can't just come in and get on your horses and stick your head down and do your work. Like now you have to oversee and make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to do.
Doing what they're doing.
How
the health
was
of the horses.
what were some of those challenges there? Was it hard, like the first time you had to like be a boss and like get someone's attention and make sure things are going right? Or have you been fortunate with just good help?
Well, I've had fairly good help. You know, there's always going to be a time that you have to tell somebody something, and it might be a little uncomfortable, but I feel like if you just clear with them, it works out. But no, that's a challenge. You know, keeping people where they're not mad at you for having to tell them, hey, you're dropping the ball here, or we're going to have to grind a little harder and stay out a little bit later. I know it's hot, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
That's still kind of a challenge, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So you started off with around that 12, and you grew into that, what you said, that kind of like 30 range, and have you kept growing from there? Or how many head of horses do you like to keep in training?
I think the 40 number is a good number. With me and 2 other guys working. Now, we're fortunate enough, the facility we have the equicizer, and I've got a guy that saddles and washes and brings them to us, and I got 2 other guys that have worked for cutting horse trainers. One's been working longer than I have for cutting horse trainers, and the other guy probably just as long. So we've got a pretty good team that way.
Heck yeah. Is that a number you want to stay at, or do you still see yourself wanting to grow later on? Or after seeing some of the chaos at Monty's, do you kind of think you can get too big?
Yeah, I think the 40 number, 40, 45 is probably about right.
Just start building to refining better clients, better horses.
Well, now at this point, and I'm not going to complain because I've had some really good clients that back me, and that's really important there. Yeah, I think now it's just kind of narrowing it down to the better horses, and that's kind of your job. You have to ride them for a while, long enough to at least get them broke, and then if they're not going to make, there's not much of a point to keep dragging it on for 2 years and telling them. It's your responsibility to tell them, hey, this horse isn't quite the athlete, or it's just not going to pan out.
What does that look like a little bit more specifically? Like how long do you feel you need to ride a horse before you feel comfortable shit canning them?
Yeah, I'm kind of a no stones unturned type guy. I think the first year.
You'll give them a full year.
Give them a full year. Give them a solid try. And if you as soon as you feel a little bit of limitation or something that you're a little iffy about, you probably need to bring it out to the open. But I always tell everybody, if it's in the first 60 days to 6 months, tell them we still need to get it broke.
Yeah.
You still have to get it broke because it's got to go somewhere from here. So, and then I don't treat them any different. I just keep the course, and some of them will be late bloomers and they'll come on, and some of them will bloom sooner and they just will peter out a little bit. So I think a solid year is a good time to address.
do you have a lot of clients that are more absentee type owners and you're just going down the road, or do you have a pretty good mix of non-pros?
We ride a lot of 2-year-olds. Our main deal is 2-year-olds, and I've been trying to build a string of aged event horses. And we do a lot of sale prepping too.
Gotcha.
So I would say most of them are absent. I have a few people that come out once a week, twice a week and take lessons, but mostly just open horses.
Do you, with those more like sale geared clients, do you feel more pressure that way, being that they're not maybe in it so much for like their own enjoyment and passion, to where maybe like they get more out of it because they're also getting to come and ride and learn and participate, versus someone who's looking at it for a business transaction?
Well, like, I think, not really, no. I think cream's gonna rise to the top, and the cell cults are gonna sell where they're gonna sell. Quality's quality. So.
Yeah, like you had said that you have one client that's been with you for a real long time. Are a lot of your clients people that you've slowly picked up and have come with you?
Well, you know, yes and no. Like, I've have clients that I've, you know, didn't meet until they had already called me and asked me if I wanted the horse and training, and then I had clients that I've known since I was a kid, you know, like 7 years old.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So a little bit of variety, really. And, you know, we've been fortunate enough that most of them respect our input, and I usually, if they want to, there's no secrets. Just come out and watch your horse and see what you want to see. So.
You come from a program that has success, which I'm sure plays into your mental game and your mental fortitude and your confidence, and you've already had success anyways. So maybe this isn't something you've considered so much, but something that I think of, because I'm coming into the performance horse world at basically 27, and I think about kind of a gap in my, like, I wasted some of my younger years where a lot of guys were gaining this education and are coming into their 30s and already stepping off on their own, where I feel behind the ball and I don't maybe have as much experience and confidence. And I mean, especially in Texas, every other house is a horse trainer. I mean, they're everywhere. They're a dime a dozen. Good ones, bad ones. There's someone that claims that title. And so something that I think about a lot is how I can do something to grow the client pool beyond people that are already in it. Like how to draw attention to these sports and show avenues where people can find a way to get involved, whether it's someone coming in, like for me in the cow horse, convincing someone to come get a lesson, or to find a way to start showing their ranch horse, you know, in a tri-county event or something like that. Have you put any thought ever into what people in the industry could do to grow the client pool, or have you just operated in it in a way to where you know that there's enough people for everybody? If you're good, you're going to find the people, or they're going to find you.
I feel like if you do a good job and you work hard, it's going to shine. It's people are going to see effort, and they see. I feel like people want to invest into somebody young and up and coming. They want to be like, I had one of his first futurity open finalists. I think people crave that, and I think that if you are, doing a good job, you'll draw in good clients they want to get behind you and help you advance. So like if I had any advice, I would say just try to do a really good job and try and stand out. You know, people that'll do an average job and make excuses why the horse wasn't good or whatnot, they're probably going to have a little bit harder time. But if you accept your failures and learn from them, and you keep progressing every year, and people see you trying and progressing, they're going to help you forward.
Absolutely. 10 years at one program, from what I've collected, other people I've talked to, I mean, that seems like a really long stint at one program. It seems like it's a lot more common to see someone 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 years at a place and find another program and have this multitude of influences.
Right.
And so I feel that you're in a smaller class of people that dedicated so much time to one program.
And I really think that the first 5 years, they were investing in me. I wasn't adding that much value to the program. They could have gotten another guy that was done being a rodeo bum and done the same thing. So I figured if they invested in me for 5 years, I invest into them for 5 years, and I thought that was, the right thing to do. And I really think that for me, it took that long to learn that, because I didn't only learn, I learned business sense. I learned, how to show horses, because face it, when you first start, you're not gonna be good. You have to be willing to suck for a while until you're comfortable and you can do well. So I feel like that was the right amount of time for me. Not only did I get to learn the business, the horse train part, I also got to start buying bridles, from making hardly any money to however much money I was making at the time. I go collect bridles. I bought trucks and trailers, and I got to build all of the stuff that I needed to leave without just leaving and then like, oh gosh, I own 2 saddle pads and a bridle. You know what I mean? 10 years just gave me the right time to
Absolutely.
prep.
That's a pretty important thing you just talked about piecing all these instrumental pieces to the business before you all of a sudden need them,
Well, and it's like investing in yourself. So when I sat there, the last 5 years, I bought shock steers, zebus, horse trailers, trucks. And I started when I went to Monty's with 1 cowboy saddle, 3 bridles, a not very good pad, a set of spurs, and that was it. I'd had a vehicle and I had wrecked it on my way to work at Monty's, and I was pretty broke. I couldn't afford another one. Monty went ahead and they gave me a little like '99 Ford Ranger, and I drove that. And then I just kept upgrading every few years, and till I was ready, I had a new truck and a trailer, and I was ready to go.
How did you develop that vision to start? Every few years did it just kind of naturally happen? You started to recognize opportunity, or were you truly seeking that advancement?
I just always knew that I would need that stuff, because I knew I was going to train horses. So, and at this point, I'm all in.
Yeah.
So I would buy bridles that I knew I'd need in the future that I didn't even need to use at the time.
Yeah.
I needed a snaffle, 3 different snaffles, and a couple saddles, and but I'd have all kinds of bridles, and I would hide them out in my horse trailer, and I just knew it was stuff I needed, and so I just started collecting.
So you had mentioned, I don't remember if it was when we started recording or not, that you met your wife working for Monty.
For Monty, yes. So I'd worked there for probably 6 months before Courtney, and she went to work for Monty, and I thought you'll find this even funnier. Monty gave me a $200 raise, and he charged me $250 to lease the loft above their house. So they let Courtney move in for free, and I was like, what kind of bullshit is that? So, so this is going on. And, that little town of Clements, there's not much to do. So they go off to the fraternity, and they leave me with some horses and this loper. And, pretty girl will leave you in the house. You end up with a girlfriend, I guess. And, gosh, it's been 10 years now since we've been together.
And how long have you guys been married?
We've been married for 5. Yeah.
What was the dynamic like working under somebody and with your spouse? Did she work for Monty the whole time, or did she ever peel off and do something different?
Oh yeah, no, she did other things.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she got fired for turning back bad. She got hired to turn back, and she got fired again turning back. So oh man, it was tricky. I'll tell you. They're good friends now.
Yeah.
They might not always have been friends. It was not easy.
How did your mind change when you had your son?
Man,
Were you already? I mean, it sounds like
I was pretty well committed, but once I had a kid, there was any fraction of doubt or jumping ship. There was no. Like, this was, I had to get pretty serious.
Yeah.
Like, I remember there's times I was showing, and I'd be walking her and be like, that's pretty important, buddy. Stay down, quit being a wussy, and do your job. So, yeah, no, it made a big difference.
Yeah. Like, there's another spot where I kind of feel like I fell behind because when I was in high school, I was probably 14 or 15. I went to work at a pack station. It was my first deal around horses. Like,
right.
They'd been around when I grew up, but never really took it serious or anything like that. And at Kennedy Meadows, man, it was do your deal, you go to the bar, get some of them older cowboys to buy you a 6-pack, and hunt around them cabins for girls. And I kind of fell into that trap basically till I was 25. That's all. I was just didn't care about anything, and I'd get a little bit better here and get a little more interested, and I'd be serious at work, but as soon as work was off, I'd quit thinking about it.
Very dumb, yeah.
And then I had my son, and then my standards for myself, for how I thought people should perceive me, how I wanted to be perceived, and what I thought I was worth and what I thought I was capable of doing. I'm a completely different human being now. And I don't know that I would have ever committed or been responsible enough or tough enough until I had to be. Like, I think that having my son has been the biggest blessing in my life because it gave me a reason to be something. I didn't ever think that I was worth being anything just for myself, if that makes any sense.
Right. I think God gives you the pushes at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you can truly handle them.
Yeah.
So, I feel the same way. I think, like, I always wanted to, and I wanted to be a winner, but now I have a reason to. I have a family that that needs me to progress.
Yeah.
And, somebody's, they rely on you, so.
Yeah. Me and him talked a lot about those Wallace D. Waddle books, The Science of Getting Rich and all that. Was that something that he pushed down on you guys a bunch?
Oh, he tried, but I'm so freaking dumb bull rider. I never did a whole lot of reading. I believe in that stuff, but I really just believe in, like, if you see yourself failing, you're setting yourself up for failing. You got to be able to picture yourself in the winner's circle.
Yeah.
Or you got to tell yourself, you know, like I would do silly shit. Like I'd go through one of them bridges, hold my breath back. I'm gonna win the 2028 fraternity, NCHA fraternity, and I'd do it all the time. You know, just tell yourself that you're gonna do good, and you're gonna do well, and you're gonna win, and you can't just sit on your ass and achieve that. Then you have to put in the work to go do it, but you have to believe in the work that you're putting in, and that it's gonna pay off.
Absolutely.
That you're not just doing it to earn a paycheck.
Yes, sir.
I think money is, you know, everybody wants to earn money, but I want to achieve goals. So.
Heck yeah. Well, I think that's a good spot to end it on. You know, I mean, I'm real happy that you took the time to sit down and talk with me and support what I'm trying to get started here.
Yeah.
And, all right. Well, shoot, I appreciate it very much, Eric. Thank you.